I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. All right. Thank you. Before I think I made my way down the lineup and gave everybody recording privileges. If I did not, please drop me a note in the chat. I also want to say that Saturday's duel against Oklahoma State will start at 8 p.m. That has been a moving target, but we have landed on 8 p.m. So if you've seen otherwise, please make note that that starts at 8 p.m. Central Time. Before we throw it out the questions, Coach Brands will make an opening statement, then we will throw it out the questions, and we'll be joined later by Jay Nyerman and Michael Kemmerer. So before we get going, Tom, the floor is yours.
Yeah, before we talk about this weekend, I would like to address what happened to Austin Gomez on Saturday and extend an apology to him and his family. No athlete, no parent, no opposing fan should have to go through what he went through ever, anywhere. This world has a lot of work to do on social injustice issues. That work is important on our campus. That work is important in our athletic department. It's important in our wrestling program. It's important to me. Diligence is high.
Thank you, Coach. Anyone with a question, we can get started. It looks like the first question this afternoon is from Darren Miller.
Hi, Coach. I was wondering if you could reflect back on the Grapple on the Gridiron and what that day was like for you in the program and how that has kind of motivated other events like you're going to this weekend.
I think that the awesomeness of college wrestling affords big programs these environments. So we've been to a sold-out Bryce Jordan. We've been to a sold-out Gallagher-Iba Arena. Those aren't friendly places to wrestle. We've been to Kinnick Stadium, pretty friendly place, huge crowd. So I think I don't know if it's just having the experience of wrestling in that type of an environment as much as you're used to wrestling in that type of environment. The world stage, a lot of our guys have wrestled in national championships, in the freestyle circuit. They've wrestled overseas. Jacob Warner's a medalist at the cadet world championship. So, I mean, the stage is big, but our guys have been there. So I don't get caught up in that a lot. Now, here's the other thing, with all the perks and the benefits that the NCAA gives student athletes to promote themselves. This is a big stage to promote yourself. So if you're looking for that type of avenue, might be one reason to maybe put a little extra oomph into it. Not the only reason, but you got to be realistic too as a coach that not everybody's wired the same way, maybe the way I am, in that those things didn't really matter to me. And you know what? That doesn't matter, and it's okay if they matter to them. Just don't let it get in the way of a good performance. Don't let it be a distraction. Take care of that stuff on the side. And our guys are pretty grounded in those areas. I think they've done a good job since July 1st when the NIL business started.
Just a little follow-up. I was just wondering if you could comment on the Grapple on the Gridiron event that you guys had 6 years ago and how special that was, that event.
Yeah, sorry I missed your question. That was 6 years ago, and it was awesome. And the University of Iowa, had no reservations or hesitations to put that kind of an event on. Our administration was behind it. Kirk Ferentz was behind it. Kudos to everybody to make it happen. Kudos to John Smith. And not hesitating himself. And so here we are now, you said 6 years later, and we're going to Texas to wrestle Oklahoma State. It's like their home duel, but I know Hawkeyes are going to travel well down there. It's going to be a great event in a brand new stadium in a place that, it's the second most popular sport, or maybe the third most popular sport now in the world. That as far as television and access and so on and so forth. So we're going to be in a world-class facility on a world-class stage. We're fired up about it.
Tom, the next question this afternoon is from Jack Lido.
Hi, Tom. Thank you for being here this afternoon. I want to ask you one more question on the situation from Saturday. You and Terry encourage a loud environment at Carver, as you should. But as someone who's been doing this for a long, long time, have you seen this type of behavior at wrestling meets before, in and out of Carver? And where can you kind of draw the line of being a fan?
I have not seen this behavior before. This is front and center on our mind. Our administration, it's ongoing with them. And when and if we find those fans, the penalties will be stiff for them. But I also talked about, our approach and specifically myself and Iowa Hawkeye Wrestling. We address this specifically with our team, but this is an ongoing conversation as well. And there is no tolerance, no place, no room ever anywhere for what happened on Saturday. And that's why I led with it. The important thing is that you know from me that diligence is high. It's an ongoing conversation, and there's a lot of work to do. And how do you do that work? You do that work by listening. You have difficult conversations, and then you listen some more. And I don't know if my opinions really matter on, what the solution is. I think I got to listen to, the people that are in that, environment every day, or were raised in it every day, and that's how I'm going to learn. I mean, we just had a celebration of Martin Luther King Day. Martin Luther King Day to me isn't a celebration on the history of Martin Luther King and having a couple quotes, and what he stood for and celebrating that. It's a celebration of what we have to do today to solve this issue and the problems that are in this country that are not decades old, but centuries old. And that's how we approach it in our room. Our diligence is high. That's what I can tell you.
Tom, the next question this afternoon from Cody Goodwin.
Hey, Coach. Was curious what you might be able to share from the phone conversation with Austin Gomez, as if it had already happened by now.
I have not talked to Austin Gomez. Our administration has, and conversation went well. He was respectful. He was appreciative. We were apologetic. Our administration is on the same page as how I'm speaking right now. Diligence is high. We are looking into it. There is no place for this at any time, anywhere, ever.
Next question, Tom, from Cody Goodwin.
The event this weekend, just as unique as the Grapple on the Gridiron, what can this do for the sport? I know you talked about competing on various stages and having the guys ready, but what can this do for the sport? Another unique duel, big time duel in a unique atmosphere. Well,
I think that our guys are wired to wrestle in environments that favor a lot of people to turn their head and pay attention. This thing has been billed as a main event for a long, long time. There's some things that have fallen through on the international side of things, and that hasn't been a hiccup at all in this college duel. And we just a couple times have changed. Match is going to go on at 8 o'clock now. So, it just shows how important college wrestling is on the world stage, I guess, or on the biggest stage in all of athletics. This group that is putting this on is very organized, world class, and has done it right. Has done everything to make sure that we know what's going on when changes are happening, and that doesn't happen a lot. That doesn't happen a lot in a lot of places when you're dealing with Olympic sports. And John Smith and his administration and Texas Rangers and their organization and the promotional group down there in Texas has been awesome.
Tom, next question from KJ Pilcher.
Sorry if you've covered this already, Tom, but Drake and Ibarra are both listed at 125. What's the likelihood of Drake taking the mat here in either of these last two dual meets of the regular season?
Well, Drake is day to day. We like his progress, and we'll leave it at that. He is listed. He will be making the trip. We have another guy there that you mentioned named Jesse Ibarra that is capable as well.
Tom, we'll go back to Cody Goodwin.
You mentioned just them keeping you guys apprised when things change and whatnot, and Brewer said the duel's going to start at 8. Are they still going to run your guys' duel and the men's freestyle duel simultaneously, or has that changed? Or
I don't know if the mat format has changed, if there's 2 mats or not. I know the Mongolian women's team is not coming now, and they're scrambling to fill that void as well. So, USA Wrestling is working to get men matches, and they're working now to get women's matches. I know that our weigh-in time has changed, and I know that our match time is more firm than it was before. It's slated at 8 o'clock now, and before there's going to be 6 women's matches before you guys take the mat. So it was more of an approximate start time, and that's what we know. There's been no hiccup in whether this college match is going or not. That's what my point is college wrestling is thriving. That's my point.
Tom Brands.
That it? Thanks.
Thank you, Coach.